What's up, y'all? Ronnie Robison here. Want to share with you a really interesting conversation I had yesterday with a client. I think it's really helpful to understand just what to do with your money and how the rate of return can actually sometimes skew you and make you think the wrong direction. So this client comes to me and says, "All right, to buy this $500,000 house, I've got to take $40,000 out of my 401k, so out of my retirement, and I really don't want to take it out of my retirement. But what do you think, Ronnie? What's the right way to do this? Do I leave it in the 401k and just work on saving it, or do I buy the house?" And my answer to that question really comes down to what they really believed about returns in both of those areas. So I just said, "Hey, what do you think your stocks and bonds and your retirement account, what is that going to return you?" And they had a hard time answering, and I said, "Well, let's be crazy and say that you're going to earn 10% a year on that money. So let's assume on the high side that the stocks and bonds are going to earn 10%. And then I said, "Okay, what do you think real estate's going to do?" And they said something like 5%. I said, "Well, let's just take a terrible scenario here. Let's say over the long term, real estate's just going to turn you 3% a year." So if you just look at it from that perspective and say, okay, the stocks and bonds is 10%, the real estate's 3%, then it's a no-brainer to leave it in the stocks and bonds. But the part that you're missing is the financing on the house. And so that leverage all of a sudden makes the 3% gains on something that's much larger than just what you put in as your down payment. All of a sudden, when you add in that leverage and you look at it compounded over time, the real estate starts to make sense. So I worked up the numbers here. So 3 years at the 10%, the person in the retirement account is going to have an extra $63,749. Yes, I have a little cheat sheet over here. I wrote down the numbers. But that's an extra $63,000. But now over that same 10-year period, if the house goes up in value by 3% a year, they only put in 40,000. The house is now worth an extra 171,958. So you're winning big time by owning the house, because if you wait till you save, takes you 10 years, and now you go buy that same house, it's worth that much more, while your retirement's only gained that much less. So then you take it over 30 years and you go, okay, over 30 years does my higher rate of return finally catch me up? So over a 30-year period, that $40,000 that you put in is now worth an extra $713,000. So not the house is worth $713,000. Your $40,000 is now worth an extra $713,000. So to get your real amount in there, you're adding the 40 on top of it, and you've paid your loan down. While at the same time, that $40,000 in retirement, if you can earn that 10% a year, is worth an extra $637,000. So even with the higher rate of return, spreading it out over 30 years, you're still looking at a better bet because of the leverage to purchase the home. So if you have like a financial viewpoint, or if you have the viewpoint that real estate's going to go up by at least 3% a year, the stocks and bonds is going to go up by 10% a year, then you're a no-brainer to go purchase a home. Now, if you take your whole retirement and you use no leverage, well, obviously then the retirement's going to do better. But taking a much smaller portion, buying in, making your monthly payments instead of rent. So this doesn't even factor in tax savings, things like that, versus renting. So just want to share with you that cool conversation that I had. So if you're thinking about, hey, should I use my retirement money to buy a house? I can run those same numbers for you, put together the same kind of projection. Give us a call. We love to help you put all that together and help you finance a home. Look forward to talking to you soon.